and welcome to the MMA Analyst. This is going to be a channel all about MMA. It'll have interviews, predictions, previews, breakdowns, analysis, and some news flashes as to what's going on. Due to the current climate in MMA, there is no real previews or predictions that I can do. So what I will start off with is prospects to look out for in the next 12 months. So this will be a two-part video going from flyweight to lightweight in the first part, and then welterweight to women's bantamweight in the second part. So for flyweight, I have picked Raulian Paiva as one of mine. He is 19-3 in MMA. He is 1-2 in the UFC. He lost his debut to Kai Kara France, and he lost his second fight to Rogerio Bottarin, and he won his third fight against Mark De La Rosa. Now Mark De La Rosa is a great grappler, but Mark was unable to get him to the ground, and Paiva looked very good on the feet and ended him in the second round with an overhand right. He's only 24 years old, and I think that with the confidence that he'll get from beating Mark in the last fight, he has serious potential to look out for. Then I've also picked David Dvorak. He is 18-3 in MMA. He's on a 14-fight win streak, including his one and only fight in the UFC. Most of his wins come by stoppage. Now his UFC win was by decision. He's only 27. He did look good in his debut against Bruno Silva. It was a close fight. He probably would have preferred to win it more comprehensively, but there might have been some UFC debut nerves in that, and that's why he didn't get the stoppage or the comfortable win that he would have been looking for. But he is a young fighter coming from Croatia, and I do think that with his stellar 18-3 record, he could be due for a big push in flyweight soon, especially with flyweight because of how little fighters there is in that division. A few wins and you'll be up there for title contention, considering there is no champion at the moment. So secondly, we'll be going on to bantamweight. Now bantamweight, there's a lot of people that you could look for. One that I was really close to picking was Jack Shore, but I didn't end up picking him. He only had one fight in the UFC. Now he's a Cage Warriors bantamweight champion, and I think he will be very good. But instead, the first person I've gone for is Merab Dvalishvili. He is 10-4. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He trains at Serra-Longo in New York with Aljamain Sterling, Chris Weidman, loads of other fantastic wrestlers, and his wrestling is top notch. You can see that in his last few fights. He has just dominated him from head to toe in just wrestling. And he does have some unorthodox strikes as well that he likes to throw in there. Now he's only 29, so I like to think that if you're on the other side of 30, you're within a good shot of having still a good few years left in the sport. So being 29 and having the gym that he has and the wrestling capabilities that he has, I think he is a problem for anybody in the division. Then we also have Sugar Sean O'Malley. Now Sean O'Malley is just back from USADA's suspension. He just had his return fight there and ended it very quickly. The majority of his wins are by knockout or TKO. He is a flashy striker. He's great personality. It's hard not to like him or be entertained by him. And although I said that most of his wins come by knockout or TKO, he is also a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu, and he has competed in the quartet, beating the experienced Takanori Gomi, and he drew with Gilbert Melendez. So that's not too bad for his grappling credentials, and that will only help him in the future in UFC. Now he is also only 25 years old, so he has loads of time to improve, but I think that with another 2 wins, maybe get one in August or September, then another one in December or January, then he could be looking at the top 5 area in the division. Next at featherweight, we have Super Sadiq Youssef. Now he's 11-1 in MMA. He's 4-0 in the UFC. Now all of these wins, I'm not counting the Contender Series as UFC wins. He has beaten some good solid guys already, like Andre Feely and Shaman Moraes. His striking is sensational, and he's very strong base. He's very hard to take down. He's very good strong hips. He's only 26 years old, and already beaten the likes of Shaman Moraes and Andre Feely is very good for him. Featherweight again is a very tough division. There's lots of good guys in there. It'll be hard to get into the top 5, but he could be knocking on that door in the next 12-18 months or so. Next up we have Arnold Allen, who is 16-1 and he is 7-0 in the UFC. He's beaten Mako Americani, he's tapped out a great jiu-jitsu guy in Mads Burnell. He's beaten, in his last two fights, he's beaten Gilbert Melendez and Nick Lentz. Beaten loads of experienced, tough guys. He's 7-0 in the UFC and he's only 26 years old. He has loads of experience. He was scheduled to fight Josh Emmett, that didn't come to fruition, so I would like to see that redone, and that would be a good ranked win for him. He needs just that one good win against somebody in the rankings. He trains at TriStar with Faraz Zahabi, and his striking again is very good. He has a very wide karate stance, and he likes to feel out his opponent, kind of like Wonderboy Thompson, and he just explodes on him then. He's also very strong base. One person I was very close to picking this was Ryan Hall, who's 8-1. It's just hard to pick him because he just doesn't fight often enough to be in contention the next 12 or 18 months. Now he has a fight coming up against Ricardo Lamas, but Ricardo Lamas isn't ranked anymore, so it's hard to see that pushing him up in the rankings too much. Just no one will fight him because he's so good on the ground and he's such a hard person to fight. Another TriStar fighter. Then in lightweight we have, the first person is Renato Moicano. Now Renato Moicano is he's 14-3-1. He's 6-3 in the UFC. He's very experienced in the UFC, but he's only after moving up to lightweight. He had most of his fights at featherweight, where he only lost to Jose Aldo, Korean Zombie, and Brian Ortega. He's beaten likes of Jeremy Stevens, Cub Swanson, and Calvin Kayer. And in featherweight, he was considered one of the top guys. Now, stopping the weight cut, going up to lightweight, it's very possible that he'll be in the top 5 in the next 12-18 months. He is a great fighter, and yeah, at lightweight he could be a problem for anybody in the division. Then we also have Brad Riddell. Now Brad Riddell is 8-1. He's 2-0 in the UFC. He comes out of City Kickboxing in New Zealand. Trains with the likes of Alex Volkanovski. I'm pretty sure he's Alex Volkanovski's striking coach. He trains with Izzy Adesanya. Now in his first 2 UFC fights, he has 2 fight of the nights against Jamie Malarkey and Mustafayev. And Mustafayev is a fantastic striker who loads of people thought would have been able to outstrike Brad Riddell, but no. He has a really good chin. It's hard to break him, and he will just come back throwing bombs. And he is a guy that, if you come, like, his fight style is to get into a brawl. His fight style is to beat you on the feet, whether it's by points or whether it is by knockout. If you keep matching him up as strikers, yes, it will eventually take his toll on his chin, but he'll be Justin Gaethje-like, where you won't mind getting into a brawl, where you won't mind taking shots, and he will just return fire and return fire. I think that especially with him training with Izzy Adesanya, the UFC will try and push him fairly quickly, especially that he's already beaten a tough guy in Mustafayev. They'll know that he's a great fighter, and I could see him getting a top 15 guy next. And if he wins that, he might be looking up to 7 or 8 in a very stacked lightweight division. I know that Barboza is going down to featherweight, but if that doesn't work out for Barboza, I would like to see Brad Riddell versus Barboza. I think that would be a great fight and a great ranked fighter for Brad Riddell to beat. Now these are just 2 people in each division from flyweight to lightweight that I think in the next 12 to 18 months you can look out for. Obviously we don't know when the UFC is coming back, whether UFC 249 will go ahead or not, but if these guys can get 2, maybe 3 fights in by then, I think that as long as they come through that unscathed, they could be looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 in rankings, and only a couple of fights away from a title shot potentially. Now part 2 will be coming. That will have from welterweight to women's bantamweight, another 2 fighters in each division, and I will try and get some news flashes in. I'll try and get previews and predictions of fight cards when they're coming up. Like if I know that Tony and Khabib is going to happen, then I'll get a fight breakdown of that. You can expect loads of videos to be coming, and hopefully often enough. Okay, thank you.